Okay folks, we're back with the DS50, and as you can see I've got the transport out right here ready to go for servicing. But before we get started, I've got some bad news. I don't know if you can see it real good, but the idler gear is missing some teeth. That is not good because we are not going to find another one of those. I am rather sure about that. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking I'm probably not wrong. Now, how am I going to deal with this? Getting this all lubed up. I'm still going to lube it up, don't get me wrong. I'm just a little disappointed that the idler's missing teeth. So this must have gotten a fair bit of use for the previous owner. This is going to be really tricky, guys. If I take this head block off, I'm immediately dealing with alignment issues once I put it back on. But I'm not really seeing any other way to do this if I want to get this lubed up properly. So how do I do that? Good question. There's a bunch of springs and stuff I need to worry about if I do this. I might just end up having to take a bunch of pictures and try to reference back to it, because I really want to get this plate off so I can re-lube it properly. This is when I start regretting my decision to pay $350 for a boombox only available in Japan. I'm going to shut you back off again, and I'm going to try and figure out how the heck I'm going to get this apart. Okay, I'm back, and I think I see how this is done. You had the 2-pinch rollers, and they were just clipped in, so easy to take out, and therefore real easy to clean up later. And what's going on is this whole sliding plate is held in place using these 2 pieces on either side. And I think what you got to do is take the head assembly off. And it doesn't look like that will mess up the alignment, but we've got to watch out for this little guy here, because this controls the forward and reverse flippy thingy doodle. So we're going to have to really watch that we don't screw that up forever. So yeah, we got to take these 2 screws out, we got to take these 2 plastic pieces off, and then we should be able to get this whole thing off. I think, I hope. And we've also got a spring up here we got to watch. I will free up this spring in the back here. We'll just leave it right there just to keep it out of trouble. Now I need a little mini screwdriver. I'll use this set I got from, I don't know if it was still Radio Shack at the time, but it might be the source. These are kind of not very good screwdrivers, but they'll work well enough. Of course I got the wrong size right out of the bat. Out of the bat, off the bat. Oh, my brain some days. Number 1 comes off. Now before I do number 2, I want to hold this in place, so just in case somebody wants to go flying off here, It won't go flying far. Oh boy, that's tight. I'm going to need something with a bigger handle for that one. Let's try with this guy. If I can get it on the screw, that would be a good thing. Okay, there we go. And it's loose. I'll switch back to the little guy. There, that's both screws. And off it comes, gently, ever so gently. See if I can get this wire freed up so we can move the heads out of the way here. And it looks like this is rather more easy than I thought it was going to be, which is just fine with me. So I'll put the heads up here out of the way. And let's see, can we get this out now? Yes, we can. Oh, that was easy peasy. I'll just look at the underside for a bit here, in case I need to reference back to the video. That's moving fairly freely. Extremely freely, as a matter of fact. However, we are in here. Look at all this old yellowed up grease. Yeah, that's not doing nothing for nobody. So we are going to get to cleaning. And I'm just now realizing that I didn't bring my cotton swabs over. Fortunately, they're not far away. Are we having fun yet? I know I am. So I'll just unbox the lot of them. See if I can move you a little bit further back so I've got a little more room to work. Alrighty then. Move things aside so I can do this a bit easier. We've got our isopropyl alcohol again. And I'm going to use the luber plate again because it works great. And I've got the stuff for the got my ander all right here for the cap stands. If I go that far, I may not. But yeah, I got a better look at this idler gear now, and it's only one tooth that's missing. So I think we're going to be okay on that. I may see if I can find a new gear. It might be still available, but you never know with some of this old stuff. So I'll even pull it out for you. There it is. That's the idler. And I'm going to relube that, so I'm going to set it off to the side. Looks like there's another little mini idler in there too. Anyhow, I should probably get started on my work here. I'm going to pull this out too, actually. Just set it off to the side. And yes, the little mini idler is fine, so we're not going to worry about that one too much. But I'm just going to relube everything I can get access to here. Sound good? Sounds good to me. So, what do we do first? Let's set this aside and then we'll just do this plate first. How about that? Now, it goes without saying that we're going to have to remember just where this mechanism needs to be lubricated again and where it wants all that grease. And since it looks like we can just take this assembly apart as well, we'll do this very gently because there's a spring here that we don't want to lose. And yeah, we've got grease to clean up under here too, right where the spring is. So we shall do that. It looks like all these little hooks here that interact with the top plate all need to be lubricated. So we're gonna just go ahead and do that momentarily. I've still got something to clean up over here. There's really not that much grease on this mechanism. I'm kind of surprised about that. Anyhow, that's that done. Let's get the lubricator plate loose here. And I just want to take one more pass over this plate with a shop towel just to make sure all the old grease is off. Old grease and new grease don't mix too well. So far this is actually going better than the Sansui deck, if I'm being honest. And of course the spring comes off because why wouldn't it? Let me get the remnants of shop towel out of this spring. Alright, now I'm gonna it would help if I put this back on properly, wouldn't it? We still got something to clean up here. No worries, we'll put that spring back on in a moment or three. For now, I just want to get some lubriplate going. I'm going to do this on my shop towel. Just so I got a big pool of the stuff I can pull from. So yeah, every place this slides back and forth, we want lubriplated. have to try and make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. Used to doing this by myself, you know, so sometimes I forget that there's a camera on. Now, get some along there and along there, because I know there's stuff that slides around in there. And that should be good to go. Nice and slippery. Now, if I can get this spring back on, that would be a good thing. Again, self, show the people what you're doing. Don't bring it up to your face so nobody can see it. Okay, there we go. Spring is back on. It seems like it still wants to get hung up a little bit, so I think I'm going to lubricate in between these plates. It didn't have that from factory, but why not? It seems like it kind of needs it. And I have a feeling I have to do all of this all over again on the DS20 because it's gummed up just like this. It plays, but it doesn't always reverse. And it just in general has the same kind of nonsense going on with it. Okay, come on, slide. Okay, that's moving real nice now. So we'll put that aside, and we'll start cleaning out all the grease in here, which is going to be fun because I can't just go over it with a shop towel. I have to use the swabs. I will lubricate as I go, because I don't want to lose track of what needs to be lubricated. Fortunately, I have tons of lubricate, so that's not going to be hard. All right. Just checking to make sure I know what this little gear does before I pull it out of there for lubrication. This may not pull out that very easily. No, it's being held in there. Looks like this little plastic piece here has to come out before this will. And we do kind of need to get in there to lubricate it. Unless I do the lazy method and just dribble alcohol in there, which I may actually have to do, but First we'll clean up this area right here, and this may prove to be good enough. There's gonna be some old grease left in there, but Self, why are you putting old grease where you're trying to clean off the old grease? Don't do that. So yeah, it looks like to take out this piece, it has to come down just a little bit this way, and then it pulls off. But I don't know what's holding it in, so I'm not going to even try. Granted, that could be contributing to the problem, but there's only so much I feel like doing with this. Let me see if I can still get this arm off. No, I don't think I can, but I can get underneath of it. Yes, I can. And if I can get underneath of it, then I can relube it. No need to pull it off. So, that's a little bit much for the luber plate. Just have a little look-see to here. See if I can get the luber plate under there a little better. There we go. That should do it. Like I said, it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect because it's a 30-year-old boombox, so I'll just do the best I can with it and get it working as best I can. It's about all I can tell you. We will move on to the next piece now. Right in here needs lubricating. So we'll give that some nice fresh grease. And it looks like we've got another little arm here that needs to be lubed up, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one. Without going further into this than I want to. So we'll just try our best with it. Nice fresh grease. Either it'll help or it won't. We will find out. Now, next piece, we'll do this one up here. I surely hope this makes this thing work a little better than it did in the testing phase, but you never know. That might be a little too much grease, but that's okay. Now before I forget, I'm going to do those little posts that the idlers ride on. Okay, that's that. Just want a little bit of grease on here. We don't want to go nuts. So, put yonder idler back in. Put this little flippy doodle thing back in. If I can get it to go. There we go. It's moving nicely. Now we've got some more grease up here to deal with. So let me get a fresh swab here and we'll just go ahead and do that. It really is interesting how little actual grease there was in here from the factory. And yet these run for decades. On that little grease. It's really quite interesting. I'm going to hold that in the up position and I'm going to try to force a little more grease down in there. Got this hole, a couple of holes up here to do that. It's probably about the best I can get without getting grease all over my idler, which we don't want. Even though it's not quite as critical as with a rubber idler system like my Iowa / Carver in the other room. Okay, this is looking good so far. Well, we've got a portion of that arm I didn't lube up yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quick. Now this over here is the eject mechanism. I don't think we need to do much with this, but there is a little grease there, so I think we're going to go ahead and might as well get this done too, eh? So that's done. Now, my back is starting to hurt, but that's okay. Just want to double check where this goes. And I think we're going to lube some of this stuff up underneath here, maybe. I'm not showing you what I'm doing again. I apologize. We'll just get a light coating along that entire arm because I think it needs it. So we should be about done, I think. There's more stuff that could be lubed, like the capstans, and we are going to need to clean these capstans very carefully after this, because heaven knows just how much of this stuff is getting where it's not supposed to get. And we might as well actually do that while we're here. I'll get a fresh swab. There's a bunch of grime coming off this one, as you would expect from something that's seen a lot of use over the years. Hopefully you guys are still hearing me and it's still recording. Oh, the Z50 needs a battery. Just go over this real quick, and I'm going to change batteries. Be right back, guys. Okay, we are back. You know what I like about this Z50? I like the fact that I took it upon myself to buy extra batteries. That's definitely a good thing. Anyway, I got that one capstan done, and we're going to get this second one done. This mechanism works just like it does in the Sansui deck, in that you have dual capstans, but they're turning different directions to allow for auto reverse. It's not a closed loop system like my carver in the other room, where you have two capstans but they're all turning the same direction and they're set up to maintain constant tension on the tape. I've actually got, fun fact, a couple of tapes that only play well on that carver deck because of the closed loop system. I've got a Bonnie Tyler tape. It's the one with Total Eclipse of the Heart on it. And when I bought the tape, I noticed it was badly wrinkled, and the Sansui deck cannot play that one. It's got all kinds of garbage in the sound. But fortunately, the carver deck can handle that one. So that's good. Now I'm going to relube some of these plastic pieces I know that contact the sliding plate there. I don't think I'll bother totally cleaning everything off, but anything I know needs grease is going to get grease. Or rather, everything I know can benefit from grease is going to get grease. Grease is the word. If you're a fan of Frankie Valli, that is. Okay, I think we might be ready to put this back together. So let's get our sliding plate here. See if we can remember how it goes on. There we go. I gotta do some more lubing, a little bit. Put some up there. Actually, I think that was the only place. I'll put a little bit more down in there too. Right there could use some, I think. Boy, am I glad I got these rubber gloves, because they're very useful for stuff like this. Oh, we've got even more to lube that I didn't notice before. And that's not good. We just put a bunch of lube right where we didn't want it. Great. Pull this idler back off and just clean it off. And I do hope I can find another idler for this, because I would like my DS50 to work like new, if I can possibly make it do so. Don't know if I can, but certainly gonna try. There we go. Okay, that seems to be moving fairly well. Let me put this spring back in place. If I can get a hold of it. There we go. Is it just me, or is it still looking like it moves a little bit slow? I think we need to do some more lubing up top here. Like this area needs lube. And this area could use a little lube. We'll just have to see if this works any better. It's working not bad right now, I must say. So we might be all right. Just checking the cap stands again. I think I need to clean those a little bit more. So I will. But yeah, I'm going to skip the thing I did with the Sansui and not bother taking the belts off and cap stands out. But we should be probably paying a little bit of attention to the lube in there. You know what? I'm just going to do that too real quick once I get the head back on. Or rather, the head assembly. Assuming I can get this back on, that is. Getting this little pin aligned is the tricky part on this assembly. But it looks like I got it. So I'll just run those screws back in. I'm not going to get inside here and lube that up because it appears to be working just fine as is, so that's where the trouble is on my DS20. but I'm willing to leave well enough alone in this case. That's about as tight as I want to get that. So yeah, that should be it for this, I think. Now I'm going to shut you off briefly because I want to clean up these pinch rollers, and I got to do that with Windex. So be right back. Okay, I am back, and I am now gloveless because I've gotten the real messy stuff out of the way. So we'll get some Windex going here. We'll just scrub these pinch rollers real good. And look at that. Nasty. This might work better with the shop towels, but this is fine. And hopefully I'm going to remember which side these pinch rollers are supposed to be on, because I'm not sure that I do. I'm still getting all kinds of crud off there, so I'm going to go for a second cotton swab. But yeah, my first boombox was a Pulsar CC4000, and that's going to be the subject of another video because it's got some issues too after all these years. And I, being a 12-year-old, was not easy on that machine at all. And yet it handled everything I had to throw at it. Look at that. Even the second attempt is nasty. I'm going to move away from the swabs now, and we're just going to use shop towels now because this is real disgusting. Might not actually be a terrible idea to get this thing new pinch rollers while I'm at it. Look at that. It's leaving all kinds of garbage on the shop towel. But slowly but surely we're getting this cleaned up. It's looking a lot better than it did. And it looked terrible. I think we're going to call that good. And I do believe this one goes on this side here. And I should be lubing that. Naturally, I put everything away for that stuff, so I get some more lubriplate out, I guess. There we go, that's one done. I gotta get another shop towel because I just contaminated the one I just got with lubriplate. We do not want lubriplate on our pinch rollers, folks. That would be most ungood. Just gotta wonder how many tapes this has played over the years. what kind of music it would have played, having come from Japan. Did the original owner tape C&C Music Factory like I did? What were they into over there in the 90s? I have no idea. Anyhow, I think that one's about done. So I'll do the same thing with this. Just a little bit of lubricated plate on that shaft. Just drop her right back down. And that should be it. We should be good to go. And I have just realized that I promised I would get into the back here and lubricate in there too, so let's do that real quick before we put the thing back in the deck, or back in the boombox. That's too much screwdriver for that little screw. This way we'll also get a good look at the belts. See what kind of shape they're in. Okay, looks like we've got a separate length for that screw, so we're going to have to remember that. And just to give you an idea just how big of a company Matsushita was, and still is, look at that. They built this motor too. Alright, off it comes. Ooh boy, has this ever gotten some use. Look at this. That's just from heat damaging these little rubber grommets. So yeah, it's been used a lot. And it doesn't appear that there is any grease at all on these. Although there is on the pulleys, so we will just go ahead and replace that. We'll take our belt off first, just to have a little look. Feels like it's in good shape. Actually, I'll just be right back for a second. I want to see if that belt has still the right internal circumference. These are supposed to be 8.0. So it's good to make sure. Just get my tape measure set up here. I didn't do this very clearly on the Sansui video, so it's probably good to show you exactly how I do this in a little bit easier to see format here. Just get a little mini screwdriver here. So these are supposed to be 8.0 internal circumference. So that means we need 4.0 stretched out like this. Oh, and this is really badly stretched. This is almost 4.5. Okay, I'm going to rebelt this right now. Let me get my belts and we'll see if we can find one. I'm glad I checked this, because that is way, way off. That could be part of the problem right there. So I've got my cheap Chinese belts, and I hope I can find one that's not too wide or something. So we need 8.0. What's this one? Better. We'll keep that off to the side. This one's too small, I can already tell. Yeah, that's way too small. That's going to be too small. Let's try this one. Ooh, perfect. Right there. Put the old belt there. Put the new one that didn't fit there. So we don't get these mixed up. So yeah, this will be getting a new belt, and that could very well have been part of the problem. Make no mistake about it. I mean, the lubrication was terrible, but that was not helping anything. And it really feels like this mechanism is working a lot better than it was. So, I'm gonna have to get out another shop towel, maybe. Well, maybe not. No, this one's still good. Yes, indeed, these did have some grease on them. Not very much, but some. And we are going to be putting a lot more on than the factory did, because we have the luxury of a ton of lubriplate. But even so, just a little dab will do you with this stuff. You might have noticed that I've taken my gloves off, and that's because those gloves are kind of a pain to deal with. Okay, that should do it. Now, what am I going to do here? And we've got a gear down in there that really needs greasing as well. Maybe I should just go ahead and do that. I mean, we've already got the belt off and stuff. I don't know if I'll be able to get much access in there to that gear, but cab stands come off easy. Just got a couple of plastic flywheels on this mechanism, so not the best quality. I don't see any oil keeper seals. Doesn't mean there aren't any. So I don't think I'll bother trying to Androl. I won't try and Androl the bearings in there. Now we've got to be careful because we've got this little belt here that comes off the one, and I don't have a replacement for this one, so it's in our best interest not to break this one or mess it up. Alright, we'll just go like that, and how can we get at this to lube it? Oh, I think we've got good enough access, actually. I'll clean it up real good, as best I can anyway. And then I think we can get enough lubriplate in there to get the gear all nice and moving freely again. That's some nasty stuff that's coming off there. Looks like it's permanently stained it too. Anyway, I think a little fresh grease will go a long way in there, even if I don't thoroughly clean out the old stuff. Just doing the best I can, because I really don't want to tackle this side of the mechanism that much, because there's a lot of springs to remember where they go in here. And we don't know exactly how they interact with the top part of yonder mechanism. Alright, let's get to the lubriplate. Get another big blob going there. Some down there. Some there. May take a few cycles of the mechanism to get this spread out all over in there, but it should go. Possibly improve functionality, we'll see. Anything else I can lube up while I'm down here? Yeah, a little bit. This might be a longer video, but that's okay. I think we can get this all done in 2 videos, if I'm being totally honest. Alright, I think I've done the best I can for that, so time to reassemble. Put my lubriplate away here so I don't get my fingers all dirty. Gotta clean some of the grease off my fingers now from touching that stuff. Let's take the gloves off, I said. I won't need them anymore, I said. This accessory belt's really not in the best shape anymore, but we're gonna have to go with it for now. I don't have a replacement, so this will just have to do. Oh, and I got some lubriplate on the pulley for some reason. How did I manage that? Gotta clean that off real good first. Where did I put my other screwdriver? There it is. But yeah, since that belt was so badly stretched, I'm betting we're going to find the same thing on the DS20, so guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I hope I've still got another one that length in that bag of cheap Chinese belts. If not, I'll have to order some more. Which I'm kind of thinking of doing anyway, because we got to get this other little belt changed in this mechanism. But that little belt seems like it runs the idler, so this thing's probably going to chew tapes once that belt breaks. But let's not worry about that right now. Let's just worry about getting power to this and seeing if it works. I'm going to do that, and I will come back with you when that's done. Okay, we'll just bring the unit back up here. Bring you up a little. Now we've got to straighten all these connector wires up so they can be reinserted into that connector. And the first time I did this, one of the wires bent on me. So yes, a pox on you, Panasonic, for using these ridiculous connectors. I don't like them. Anyhow, pin 1 goes thusly. I gotta bend 1 a little bit more. I'd say I hope this is the last time I have to do this with this connector, but I gotta replace that other belt at some point if this works. And yep, same thing's happening. Wires bending without going in. Okay, so I ended up wrestling with that connector off camera, and I think I got it in there well enough, but I'm going to have to do something a little more permanent, like actually solder those wires on. Because, yeah, it just fought and fought and fought, and now the connector's damaged, so. Anyway, we're going to check it out now and see if it does anything better than it did last time. Alright, we'll put a tape in. We'll see if we can mess it up. And it's playing. It's clicking, but we know that's from the broken gear now. Let's reverse. And it's reversing. And it's not clicking anymore because the gear that's clicking only drives the take-up reel. The other one gets driven directly off the other little thing. But look at this, it's working. It's working beautifully. I is very happy right now. But yeah, I still got to figure out what to do about that connector and stuff, so. Anyway, I'll put it back together and then we'll see if we can get any music out of it. How would that be? Back in a little bit. Okay, this should be back together well enough to give us some audio, so I'm going to gently stick my tape in there. We'll see if we get anything out of it. Yep. She is working perfectly. I'm happy. Now my job isn't done yet. What I gotta do is pull the power supply out of this thing, and I'm gonna take a bunch of pictures and cross-reference it with my DS20, because I want to know for sure if I can make a power supply from a DS20 work with this, because if I can, I'm gonna go ahead and convert this over so I can run it permanently in North America. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks for joining me during my bout of intense frustration. But it appears we now have one perfectly working RX-DS50. Aside from the fact that it needs one more belt and an idler. But we'll see if we can find those, and maybe we'll come back to it in the future. But for now, take care, everyone. Thanks for coming.